So here we are back again with sex, right? Fetishes, fantasies, kinks, and more. I gave y'all a lot of information, talked a little too long, so this is going to be part 2. All right? Let's get into it.
Toxic. Love, love. Sip of whiskey. Love, love. Indeed. Let's talk about it. We ain't sipping no tea, sipping no whiskey. We don't make love, but we fuck and we get tipsy. We ain't got no shame in our game. Ain't nothing wrong, 'cause this for the grown.
So, personally, I think voyeurism would be fun. That's like on my bucket list. I don't have a problem watching other people. I think that would be very entertaining, actually. That may be TMI. So, you know, to my child and my family, if you're watching, well. But anyway, I actually think that this would be interesting. But I'm gonna get off that. Anywho, the story that I want to share is not of my own, but of someone I used to be cool with. And her husband at the time were very much into going to like sex clubs, right? And yes, we have sex clubs here in the city of Memphis if you live here in the surrounding areas. And yes, there are sex clubs basically in everywhere, every major city that you can think of. But anyway, let me focus. So they liked going to sex clubs, right? And in them going to these sex clubs, they noticed that they like to be voyeurs, specifically the husband in this situation. Now, this is where it takes this into a kink instead of a fetish, right? So, fantasies become fetishes, and fetishes become kinks because you start tweaking it to like what you specifically like. And this kink is what gets you off, right? Y'all follow me? Okay. So the husband would go into the sex club and actually like pick out other dudes, would pick out other men, him over there, him downstairs, would pick out another man for her to have sex with or, to enjoy sexually. Now, this is a completely different dynamic than I'm used to. Now, y'all, I've heard a lot of different stories. I've written articles for magazines. I've done this podcast. I just, in general, talk to a lot of people about sex and relationships because, that's what they talk to me about. So there's nothing new. Well, I thought there was nothing new under the sun, but this in particular is interesting because the husband is actually picking a man for the wife. Now, that dynamic doesn't normally come around. And I say that because even when men are open to their wives having sexual activities with other men, they don't necessarily pick them. They can approve of them, which is normally how it goes. Like, if you're in a sex club or you in a situation where you having a threesome or multiple people or you're a voyeur and someone is about to have sex with your partner, like the respectful thing to do is to, ask and to make sure that it is okay with them. The idea that a man would go into a club and seek out other men to have sex with their wife is interesting. I'm not saying anything is wrong with it. I just find it interesting because I don't know a lot of men mentally that can be like, yeah, he look like he can lay it down for my wife. I'm just saying. Very interesting to me. But anyway, so long story, I'm finna shorten it up for you guys. They did this on a regular basis at the same club, and it turned into where their situation spilled over into their home. Okay. And a man that was chosen for the wife ended up being the wife's play toy. And she kept going back and the husband didn't like it. So that's a story for Ask Leah, I think, but I wanted to share the experience because I thought it was interesting, that a man would want to watch his wife and another man. I don't know. Anyway, maybe I didn't find it interesting. I found it interesting because that dynamic is just not normally what happened. But y'all let me know what y'all think about that particular situation. But like I said, I'm down for voyeurism. To be perfectly honest, I'm here for watching. I think it'll be interesting. I want to learn some shit. Like that bitch athletic. You see how she twirled? I'm gonna stop doing these thumbs because they just keep doing this. But anyway, like you see how she twirled? That's some interesting shit. Damn, girl, how you like? I'm be taking notes. I'm trying to understand. I think it'll be interesting. But anyway, so let's move on for voyeurism. Latex arousal. Yeah, y'all heard me correctly. As I say all the time, this is a judgment-free zone. Um, I just find it interesting and a little weird. No judgment, just weird because it's not my kink, it's not my fetish. So it's a little interesting for me. So, yes, it's a thing. Let's just put that out there first, right? Some people enjoy the smell, the touch, and feel of latex. Now, this can be costumes, masks, clothing, etc. Right? This also goes with like people that like rubber. So they like to be in leather or patent leather suits and wear masks and the touch of it, right? The smell of it, the feel of it turns them on. And yeah, I really can't elaborate on that because I don't know much about it. And I don't know anyone that has this fetish. So if you have this fetish, hit me up because I would love to talk to you about it. Shit, listen, I am open until I'm not. Okay. Now, cuckolding. Now, some of y'all know what this is because y'all watch them good porno sites and y'all know what cuckolding is. Y'all gonna try to act like y'all know, but that's okay. I'm here to teach and educate. No judgment here. Like, we listen, but we don't judge, right? This is all about humiliation of the man in this scenario. Okay, so let's start off by saying that it takes a special kind of man and a special kind of relationship for this particular fetish to work. It takes a great deal of trust between these partners and a great deal of respect goes into this. So I salute anybody with this fetish and have experienced this because it ain't for me. No judgment, but it's not for me. It can be for you. Now I might watch you in a cocoa situation. I'm just saying. But it's not for me and my man. But anyway, basically, for those who don't know, cuckolding is where a guy gets hot and bothered and humiliated, right, by his spouse or partner, getting it on with someone else in their presence, right? So this takes voyeurism to another level, which I think this would make it a kink, right? I think so. Y'all agree? I think cuckolding is more of a kink than it is an actual fetish. Y'all see how that works? So you get, like I said, fantasy turns into fetish, can turn into a kink because you're taking voyeurism to a whole nother level, right? And most of the time, it's where men are watching their wives with another man. Generally speaking, another man who is more endowed below or who has more experience or who is bigger in stature than they are, who has something that they don't, right? Because remember, humiliation is part of this kink or of this fetish. So, a lot of times during a cuckold session, men who are watching who is the cuckold in the situation, they actually like participate. Okay. So they can be bisexual or consider themselves heterosexual, but during cuckold sessions, those lines might get a little blurred because I have been told I have been told that during these situations, then men may actually participate in the pleasure of the other man, although that they aren't homosexual, right? So that's part of the humiliation. Or if they don't do an actual sexual act, the man might end up, you know what I'm saying? Comment on them. Is that too much for y'all? Is that too much? Is that too much? Or they might end up like orally pleasing their woman after the man has finished their bit. That might be too much for y'all. I might be going too deep into this on this good evening. Let me take me another sip. Y'all got y'all whiskey handy. Mm. I'ma move on. Okay. Masochism, right? So this is pain play. This is the M in BDSM. And yes, I touched on BDSM, but it deserves its own category because again, we are going from fantasies to fetishes to kinks. Now, if you just the M, baby, that's a kink. All right. This fetish centers on inflicting and receiving pain as eroticism. Something like a hair pull here, a spank there, or straight up whipping and torture, unnatural bounding positions, burning, etc. Again, we're speaking on consensual sexual preferences, but what about just different types of sex? Let's get into that. Positions like missionary or doggy style, cowgirl, reverse cowgirl, wheelbarrow, etc. If y'all want me to talk about those, drop a note, let me know, and I'll talk about different positions, right? And what they actually do for you. But anyway, I digress. Let's get back to our fantasies and fetishes, okay? But actual types of sex and intimate connection. Now, I was asked specifically to touch on tantric sex. Okay. Now, tantric sex can be an entire episode by itself. And y'all tell me if you want it to be. So, if this seems like something you're interested in or want to learn more about, drop a note, send me a DM, and I'll go deep diving into tantric sex, right? But for now, let's get into the basic. Tantric sex, by definition, is a spiritual and ritualistic practice that originated in Hinduism and Buddhism. It emphasizes mindfulness, connection, and the exploration of sexual pleasure in a sacred context. So basically, it's a slow, meditative type of sexual practice that focuses on being present in the moment in order to achieve a sensual and fulfilling experience. So hell yeah. Sign me up, please. Right? Let's think about that. The whole idea of tantric sex is meant for you to be present, to feel everything, to be aware of your partner as well as yourself. It's about mindfulness, right? And what does that mean exactly? It's about being mindful of how your partner reacts to your touch, to sensations, to feelings. So we aren't focused on ourselves in tantric sex, right? We're focused on the pleasure of whom we're with. Now, this isn't for casual sex and by people that just like a jump off. This isn't for you, right? This is for people in relationships that want to develop a deeper connection or feel like they need their sexual experience to be heightened, to experience intimacy on a spiritual level. Not just physical, but spiritual and not religious. Okay, so there's a difference between spiritual and religious, right? Religious has to do with a particular religion and facts based on that religion, right? Spiritual is something different, right? That's a connection um to a soul, to a spirit, to a higher being. That's different than religion, right? But anyway, to experience intimacy on this spiritual level um makes soul ties, right? Y'all hear about soul ties, and tantric sex will definitely have you in a soul tie or whatever. So, be careful with this shit. All right. As I said before, tantric sex is a slow, meditative form of sex where the end goal is actually not orgasm, but enjoying the sensual journey and sensations of the body. It aims to move sexual energy throughout the body for healing, transformation, and enlightenment. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't or won't have an orgasm. It's just not the focus, right? And why the hell not? I'm sure some of y'all was like, bitch, why it ain't the focus? Oh, ain't that the goal? Right. Well, this is all about a bigger, more meaningful connection with your partner, right? As I stated before, tantric sex is all about building on the relationship that you already have, being closer to your partner, having a spiritual connection to your partner, wanting to make them feel good and you in turn to feel good in the process. It's about meditating and concentrating on the feeling, being present in sex, not thinking about the outcome, but being present in every kiss, every caress, every touch, right? You'll come. Trust. You'll come eventually. Like sometimes if you practice tantric sex initially, you won't, but you'll still enjoy it because it's about the journey. I think that's the most important part about tantric sex. It's about the journey. It's about the act. It's not about the outcome, right? Instead of rushing to get an orgasm, you're taking your time, enjoying and feeling every kiss, every touch, every breath. This is all about being intentional in your movement and your thoughts. Partner worship, if you will. Now the setup. So, let me tell y'all how to get into tantric sex. So basically, you want to set the mood with tantric sex. Make sure you are in a safe, sexy space, whatever that looks like for you and your partner. But I can't emphasize that enough. Make sure that you are in a safe place and with someone that genuinely cares about you, your well being, and your emotional state. All right. Next, you want to work on being mindful of your breathing. Deep breaths, calming your spirit and helping you stay present in the moment. So those of you who do like morning meditation or are good at meditating, listen, put that practice to use when it comes to tantric sex, okay? Deep breaths, like I said, calming your spirit and helping you stay in the moment. From there, make eye contact. Now, ain't nothing sexier than eye contact to me. If somebody can look me in my eyes and reach me deep down in my soul without saying a word, and all they doing is looking at me and breathing and being soothing and caressing me. Ooh. Mm, mm. Anyway, but we're going to focus on gazing right into your partner's eyes. Snatch his soul, baby. Right? Just look real deep into that person. Okay? Then we're going to move forward to touch. So if you notice there's phases to this, right? We're going to start with our breath. Our breath. Making sure that we're regulating our breathing and that we're feeling each breath deep down in our soul, right? We feel it. And then we're going to look each other in the eyes and we're going to gaze. And we're going to see what's behind those eyes, right? Because this is all about making connection. So this is why it's important to have someone that you are familiar with, in a relationship with, and want to take things to the next level, right? And then we're going to go to touch. Take turns giving each other massages. Vocalize where you want to be touched and how you want to be touched. Focus on the sensation of your partner's hands on your body, or the heat flowing through your hands from their body parts to yours. Be intentional on where and how you touch. Ask if something feels good, because again, tantric sex is not about the orgasm. It's not about the end result. It's about the journey. So make sure that each one of you are enjoying the journey. Now, that's something that we lack in sex in general. And y'all know how I get on my tangents. But we don't allow ourselves to enjoy the moment because we're so focused on what's going to happen afterwards. Or we're so focused if we're doing something right, instead of just asking our partner. Ask people. If you're doing something that makes feel good to you and you think that that person loves it and the person can't stand it, so ask, right? Because communication is vital. I say this all the time. I don't care what it's about. If it's about sex, it's about listening, it's about parenting, it's about anything in life. Communication is vital, but specifically in tantric sex. You need to pay attention to how your bodies feel together, how they naturally move and sway and counteract to your partner's moves. It's a dance of sorts, right? A sensual dance, tantric sex. Now, it's time to get into position. Any position can be tantric as long as you're focusing on breathing and intentional gaze. But personally, I'm here for the lotus. Now, I do have a lotus, tattooed on me, but that's not what that's for. But anyway, I'm personally here for the lotus, right? So basically, the male, this is heterosexual intercourse, okay, sits Indian style, and the woman sits on top of him with her legs crossed behind his back, right? Oh, trust. Perfect for tantric sex, okay? Now, you don't have to penetrate at this moment. Is this too much for y'all? Is this too much? I'm trying to help y'all because tantric sex is something serious and can take your relationship and can take your sexual experience to a whole nother level. But anyway, it don't matter if it's too much for y'all or not because that's what I do. I'm too much. But anyway, You don't have to penetrate at this exact moment, right? Because again, we aren't focused on the end game. We're focused on the journey and how it's making you feel, right? This is all about the build up, anticipation, and how your partner feels on you, right? Soft kisses, rough kisses, whatever tickles your fantasy. This is the moment, right? But not too fast. Practice delaying orgasm. Now, that can be a whole different topic by itself, but tantric sex is all about the journey. I'm going to keep saying it, right? And it's about delaying your orgasm because, again, that is not the goal. Not as a happy ending, but it's not the goal. So, what do you mean, Leah? Well, bring yourself to the brink of orgasm and then back off. This is also called rimming for men, right? Don't stop your momentum. Just cool yourself down so you can enjoy more, right? This definitely comes with practice. So don't expect to be able to like stop your orgasm and go and then stop it again initially. If you can, kudos to you and hit me up and let me know how you did it. But this takes practice, right? But why, you may be asking, why would I want to delay more orgasm? Because it makes the actual climax that more intense. But remember, this is a whole process. It's about making a meaningful connection with your partner and being present and mindful of every touch, every gaze, and every breath. Now, moment of honesty. Once you connect on this level, you can make your partner or yourself come with just a look, a touch, or some words. I'm trying to tell you. I'm almost out of liquor. I know some of y'all probably think I'm lying, but I am telling the truth. Once you connect with your partner on this type of level, mind, body, and spirit, and you see that both of you are into pleasing one another, that it's more about pleasing the other than it is yourself. There's so much more to intimacy once that power is unlocked. And I'm speaking from personal experience, y'all. I'm telling y'all the truth. I keep it 100. Y'all know it. I ain't got no reason to lie to you. Listen, y'all. Once you are super connected to your partner in this way, they can whisper something in your ear. Shit, they can send you a glance, a look, a gaze, and make you bust away, make you come, make you orgasm. These are facts. This is not fiction. This is not myth. This is true because you have set the foundation and kind of put like a mind fuck in your partner, basically, to where they are so heightened and so in tune, where y'all in tune with each other, right? So tantric sex, shit is beautiful. It's also dangerous. So, go into that in your own accord. So, what have we learned, class? No, seriously. I hope that y'all took notes or go back and replay this episode to see if something tickled your curiosity. If nothing else, add a little creativity to your sex life. Don't hold back and don't be afraid of your personal desires and even your weird ass needs. All right? Because I guarantee there is someone out there with that same need or just willing to please you because it's you. Not only do I want y'all to enjoy the art of sex for yourself, but to become more mindful and intentional about your partner and their needs. Me first, right? I say that all the time. Me first. Sometimes it's hard to be present in the moment. Just honestly, it's hard to open up about what you need or desire or what you want to try, but go for it. I say anything goes when you feel safe and heard. Now go forth and do kinky shit. Then DM me and tell me all about it. All right? And I'll see you guys next time on Sex.Love.Whiskey.
Y'all know what time it is. Coming up next week on Sex.Love.Whiskey.
According to a university study in Jersey, more Americans believe in soulmates than in the biblical God. Wrap your mind around that shit real quick for me. What is a soulmate? Now, y'all know I love a good definition. So according to Webster, a soulmate is a close friend or romantic partner with whom one has a unique, deep connection based on mutual understanding and acceptance. Not so rom-com, huh? And I'll be honest, when I think of soulmate, my whole life, I've always thought that soulmate was strictly referring to a romantic partner. So another type of soulmate is called karmic soulmate. Now y'all know I had no damn idea what the hell a karmic soulmate is. Yeah, some help you out just like I did myself out, right? Okay, a karmic soulmate will come into your life to teach you something or provide a need. Unconditional love, because who doesn't want unconditional love? And selfless unconditional love and true unconditional love, y'all, because some people can say that they love you unconditionally, and we know this shit ain't true. We know it's not true. It comes with all kinds of strings and promises and paybacks and all kinds of. So twin flames. A twin flame connection describes a relationship in which each person sees a part of themselves in the other. Twin flames might share specific qualities, passions, or insecurities. Hello, red flag. When I hear this, y'all, I think about that toxic shit. Like, you know, that toxic love. Everybody had at least one toxic relationship in their life. Date for fun. Date with intention. Charter your own path in your relationships. Making meaningful connections with people that share your same morals, values, and interests can never be a bad thing. That's never bad. Even if it's fleeting. Because hopefully, if you've done it right, you've learned something. They've contributed something to your soul. So you decide for yourself. Soulmate. Deep connection or deep faith?